Hello everybody, my name is Justin and welcome back to yet another episode of Whiskey Tears. Do me one big favor, if you have not done it yet, make sure you hit like, make sure you hit subscribe so you can check out all the great reviews coming out, all the great bourbon hunting videos, all the great bourbon battles that we're going to be doing on the channel coming up. So, let's get into it. For today, doing a bottle that I recently picked up in the most recent bourbon hunting video. Today, we are doing the Magnus Triple Cask. Okay, so Joseph Magnus Triple Cask coming in at 100 proof. I believe I also got this for $100, including tax and all that. So I don't know a ton about it. I know that it's triple cask, and two of this casks were sherry casks, and one of the casks was a cognac cask. So very interested in that. If you guys haven't seen the channel before, I really enjoy finished whiskeys. Joseph Magnus is, I have never actually had their just straight bourbon. I've heard amazing things about the cigar blend, but that's super hard to find and super expensive when you do find it. So I am excited to try just the regular old triple cask, and that's not even the regular old, but it has won all kinds of different awards throughout, 2016, Best Special Barrel Finish Bourbon, 2018 Gold Medal, and yada yada and so on from the World Whiskey Awards. So it's definitely got that on there as well. But the bottle itself is kind of interesting because honestly, the label, like I have a love-hate relationship with the label. It's kind of got like a silver, like almost like highlight of everything, but then the gray is almost too dark of a gray there, so it doesn't, kind of looks kind of muted back there. I don't know. I think maybe a slightly different color gray might look colored, but the bottle itself, if you were to take the label off with the kind of rippling effect that it has here on the neck, is almost like a decanter would look. So that looks pretty good. So, all right, I'm excited to get into it. We're going to go ahead and get the nosing straight out of the bottle first. Caramel and like those dried the fruit, those dried fruit. Maybe like a dried mango or an apricot. Yeah, either a dried mango or an apricot with caramel in the background. A hint of spice in there too, so it smells pretty good. Interesting with the sherry and cognac cask finish. So we'll go ahead and pour it into the glass. See what we're getting on the nose here out of the glass. If anything changes, the bourbon itself looks pretty dark in the bottle. A lot of that may have to do with the fact that it is finished, but generally for me, the darker the better for any whiskeys is a pretty good rule of thumb, unless it's something that's got like a little stave thrown in there or something along those lines. But yeah, I'd say definitely a little bit darker in the glass here as well. But let's see what nosing we're going to get here out of this guy. Yeah, so definitely that mango, like dried fruit, like apricot dried fruit, those little ones that you buy like in the grocery store that are all dried out in the bag and you just kind of nom nom on them. Ooh. It's like that, but almost if it was covered also in just like a little bit of like powdered sugar. There's definitely a sugary beyond just the fruit aspect on there. Some caramel, what is that spice? I think it's maybe a cinnamon, but like a light cinnamon, like if there's also a light dusting of that in with that powdered sugar. There's just a hint. I think you can get a hint of the sherry in there, which is I think where, I mean, that's at least where part of that fruitiness is coming from, but generally I would think the cognac is more what the apricot mango flavors from. Hint of toasted marshmallow too on the end. Got a little bit of toasted marshmallow right there on the end. So I'm excited to try this one. It smells good. It's a pretty expensive bottle at $100. So, when I saw it recently, I know the Joseph Magnus name. I've never had Joseph Magnus before, so I figured I'd pick one up and try it and taste it all here with you today. Let's go. Joseph Magnus Triple Cask. Okay, so first thing is, it's obviously finished. You can really taste all the finishing on this whiskey today. What it leaves you with is definitely the sherry. Like, it feels like I just drank a glass of sherry with what I've got. It's got a little bit of the like floralness that sherry has mixed in with the fruitiness, and that's kind of like if you have one of those nice red sherries, which is one of the only wines that I really like, to be honest with you. Not a big wine person, but I do like sherry. So that's kind of what it leaves you with on the finish. It's a pretty nice finish overall. Not too hot going down, doesn't linger too long, but yeah, you definitely get the fruitiness up front. I'm trying to pick out, I think it's more apricot on the taste than mango. I think I got more mango on the nose, more apricot on the taste, but it's definitely there. Yeah, it's a lot of sherry going on in there. It really tastes like there's almost there's a little bit of caramel in there, but it's almost like we're just drinking a really high proof sherry. Is kind of what it's like to me right now. It's almost like if you could fool me almost. It's how much sherry it tastes like. Yeah, you get some caramel and vanilla in there. When I swirled it around a little bit longer that time, get some caramel and vanilla, and then it's really overlaid with that sherry, those fruity notes. But then it like goes into, so it starts out, the fruity notes are like real sweet and vibrant and young, and then when it fades into like the sherry wine at the end, they're more dry and older fruity notes, but they're still like the same fruit, just like one's aged fruit and one's brand new young fruit. Yeah, so that's really good. As I get into it a little bit more, I can start to feel the bourbon underneath of it more. At first, I was just getting pretty much all sherry, but now I can see the bourbon in there a little bit as well. So it's kind of like it's layered in there, and it goes through different stages as it goes throughout the drinking process, throughout the front to the back of your mouth, and then through, you know, swallowing and all that. So yeah, it's good. Where do I think this is going to go on the tier system is the question. Well, it's a $100 bottle. Do I think it is worth $100 for this Joseph Magnus triple cask? I think it's close. Honestly, I think it's close. Maybe 100's a little high. Maybe 80 would be nicer at that price. You know, obviously depending on where you are, Maryland, everything is super high. So, you know, I don't think the pricing is too bad at all. The question is, where do I want to put it on the tier system? And I think that my main complaint with it is that it doesn't last too long. All the notes in the mouth, especially the ones that you get up front, are pretty quick. They're pretty quick to go through. The finish isn't overly long, but it's all good flavors. There's no bitterness or anything going on there. So I don't think it can go on the A tier, but I think it's definitely going to go on the B tier. It is really good. I enjoy it. I'm glad that I have it now in my collection and here up on the wall. So yeah, it's going to go on the B tier for me for this Joseph Magnus triple cask. Question for you. Have you had this before? Where do you think it should go on the tier system? You know, it's my first experience with Joseph Magnus. I would love to get my hands on a bottle of the cigar blend. Maybe I'll try and find one of those in the future in one of the bourbon hunting videos. Who knows? But if you want to see all that, make sure you hit subscribe. That would be the biggest thing to help me keep doing all this because it's expensive to do. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. I'll see you for your next drink.